Hello, bird nerds. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. Sorry for that slight delay. I'd forgot that having done the election stream and then the next day doing a long stream following up the results, the early results of the election, I'd filled up all my studio space on this on this program, on this platform that I use to stream out to all these locations: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and the second YouTube channel. So I had to download and delete some stuff, which did take a little while. Sorry about that. Um, so, hi. A couple of things to talk about today, and hopefully you are uh, hopefully you're here. I'm seeing people jump in and jump out. Uh, I've got there. I'd love you to tell me where you are watching from. Another question I've got here, just a simple one: coffee or tea? I forgot to make myself a beverage before I came in, so in a moment I will go and grab something. Um, this just came to my attention today, so I want to talk about New Zealand is about to amend their Wildlife Act, which is the building block of all the nature conservation laws in New Zealand. And the amendment would allow the Director General of Conservation to grant companies permission to kill native animals if they get in the way of projects like roads, mines, or dams. So, of course, I've gone the clickbait, killing Kiwis. And of course, it allows for the killing of the national emblem, symbol of New Zealand, the kiwi, of which there are 5 species, I think, if I can remember correctly, uh, and of which I think 3 of them are endangered, may even be 4. What does it say about a country? I mean, we can sort of throw that back into an Australian context. We've just had aerial culling of the koala in Victoria because there's too many koalas, not enough habitat in a part of the state. The koalas potentially going to be extinct in Queensland and quite possibly New South Wales, certainly within my lifetime. We cull our national symbol, the kangaroo. Um, I got very annoyed when I saw the amendment that is, I think, going to Parliament tonight. I think in New Zealand. I'll bring all this up shortly, and we'll have a look. I was looking for something on, um, see if we can find something on YouTube, but I haven't been able to yet. I would, um, yeah, I would really like to know a lot more about that. I do understand that there are times when people want development to go ahead and the bloody wildlife, a bloody fish or a bloody lizard or a bloody weed is holding up development. But it's a question I ask often on the bird emergency is, what is a species worth? What is an individual of that species worth? And we very rarely talk about that. And the the reason I'm skeptical, look, we'll bring up this. Uh, we'll bring up the. Let me bring up the. Is that the share scene? Let me bring it up. Beg you. That's it, isn't it? Yes. So I want to share the screen. Bring it up so we can all see what we're talking about, which will be this one. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is from Greenpeace. It's from yesterday. So the bill would have been introduced last night. Luxon government has just introduced a bill into the House of Representatives in the lower house in New Zealand that would make it legal to kill protected wildlife. Greenpeace understands the bill is being rushed through all stages under urgency tonight without public. This is what makes people so mad about. I want to just throw in conservative governments, but it's not only conservative governments that do this. Without any public consultation or proper scrutiny, the amendment to the Wildlife Act, New Zealand's foundational wildlife protection law, would allow the Director General of Conservation to grant companies permission to kill native animals if they get in the way of projects like roads, mines, or dams. Well, at least it's not housing developments or something else. But people would say this is nation building, foundational infrastructure. That may well be, but they also take a long time to plan and to build. So you would think that there may be a way to work around the presence of endangered wildlife. Folks, do please let me know where you're from, what you're doing. Throw in any comment you like. Greenpeace has condemned the move as a clear and dangerous escalation of the Luxon government's war on nature. No one wants to see roading or mining companies handed a license to kill kiwi, but that's exactly what this bill makes possible, says Greenpeace campaigner Jen Toop. This is a law change no one asked for, except for the corporations that see wildlife as an obstacle to profit. It's being rushed through in the dead of night so the public can't even have a say. This is the thing that I think makes everybody grumpy. Certainly makes me grumpy seeing this approach. This is a law. Beg your pardon. If this bill passes, it will go down in history as the moment the government chose corporate profits over protecting wildlife that is already on the brink of extinction. Greenpeace is calling for immediate withdrawal of the amendment and for the government to strengthen, not weaken, protections for the country's threatened wildlife. The bill comes after a landmark High Court decision in the case of Environmental Law Initiative versus the Director General of the Department of Conservation and others. The case challenged Department of Conservation's decision to grant Kotahi permission to kill wildlife during construction of the Mount Messenger bypass in Taranaki. The judge ruled that the permit was unlawful, upending years of Department of Conservation's practice of granting permits, which authorised the killing of wildlife under the Wildlife Act. The Luxon government is changing the law to legalise what the High Court just ruled is illegal. We're talking about the Kiwi, our national icon, being sacrificed so a company can build a road faster. That's not just who we are as a country. Sadly, it might be. New Zealand, Aotearoa. You might have to look yourselves in the eye the same way Australians have had to. We warehouse poor and dispossessed people on offshore islands for years on end. We keep them in limbo for years and years on end. And we are the country of the fair go. There's an awful lot of bullshit when it comes to national feelings. I hope you're not that, New Zealand, but I fear that you've elected a conservative government, so I fear that you may be that country. So yeah, I'll just read that paragraph again. The Luxon government is changing the law to legalise what the High Court just ruled is illegal, says Toop. That's Jen Toop from Greenpeace. We're talking about the Kiwi, our national icon, being sacrificed so a company can build a road faster. That's just not who we are as a country. Greenpeace says the move is part of a wider pattern of stripping away safeguards for land, freshwater, and wildlife, such as the repeal of the oil and gas ban, the introduction of the Fast Track Act, and the recently announced RMA reforms. Once the once the species is gone, it's gone forever. We should be strengthening protections for endangered wildlife, not making it legal to kill them. Okay, so there we go, stating the obvious. Once a species is gone, it is gone forever. I am going to show you a little bit of good news. Well, I think it's good news from New Zealand. Just wait for it to come up. This is just from a couple of days ago. Come on, share. Bit clunky, but we're there in the end. Kiwis dig deep to help the Department of Conservation save the world's rarest dotterel. Now, if you don't know anything about the New Zealand dotterel, especially the southern subspecies or species, I think we were having that conversation. I think we're basically settling on the southern dotterel being a species. You can listen to the episode that I did for the bird emergency. It's a couple of years ago now. Just search Southern Dotterel either on the YouTube page or on the Bird Emergency podcast feed, and you can learn all about how tenuous the existence of the Southern Dotterel is. But there's been a fundraising effort to aid in the protection of the Southern Dotterel. So let's read the release. 6th of May this year. The Department of Conservation and New Zealand Nature Fund. Pukenui, or the Southern Dotterel, are the world's rarest wading bird. A year ago, there were just 101 left on Earth. This year, flock counts showed a population increase of 4 birds, bringing the total to 105. It's a small lift, but hugely significant, says Department of Conservation Ranger Dan Cocker. Pukenui only breed on Rakiura or Stewart Island, and some of them migrate to Awarua Bay in Southland on the southern island of New Zealand to feed, and up in the highlands too. I think highland sort of marshes, and if they don't survive in these places, they'll be gone for good. Pukenui numbers have fluctuated over the past 30 years due to different predators, but especially feral cats. That comes up over and over and over and over again. Hello to the new folk too. You know the drill. I'm always interested to know where you are listening or watching from. I'd love to know if there's something you would like to talk about. We talked about killing Kiwis. Now we're on to the Southern Dotterel of New Zealand, or the Pukenui. Let's get back to that. Let's read that again. Pukenui numbers have fluctuated over the past 30 years due to different predators, but especially feral cats. Where are we? Sorry. The population hit an all-time low of 62 birds in 1992 and bounced back to 290 after intensive predator control in 2009, before rapidly declining again despite continued pest control efforts. And I think that's roughly the situation when I spoke with Alistair. Um, yeah, it's easily 2 years ago that I spoke with Alistair. Um, Department of Conservation has a dedicated Pukenui recovery team who work hard on bird monitoring, banding, and predator control at breeding sites and surrounding areas. So we talked about all of that when Alistair had that conversation with me. We're thrilled the April flock count showed a population increase, says Dan from the DOC, but 105 is still perilously low number for this one of a kind bird. We can't take our foot off the gas. And this is something I'll be bringing up. I'm hoping to speak with a couple of people in the Australian context, with a couple of Australian iconic bird species in the next little while. When is the species functionally extinct? Like, is 105 enough for that population to be viable in the long term? We'll find out. In 2023, the New Zealand Nature Fund launched a campaign in partnership with the Department of Conservation to raise funds from donors to support Department of Conservation's Pukenui recovery team to protect Pukenui from predators. New Zealand Nature Fund CEO Sarah Little, yes, says over 600 people have already contributed to the Pukenui campaign. That's shamefully few, really, 600, with more than 400,000 raised to date, including 200,000 from an anonymous party and 20,000 from the Southland branch of Forest and Bird. So there we are. So we've got the main bird protection group and one anonymous donor raising 220,000 out of 400,000. So, um, yeah, I'm not sure what to think about that. Um, this is where you would hope corporates would be stepping up. DOC has used funds from these donations to boost the Pukenui recovery program by employing additional trappers to target feral cats at nest sites, adding cameras around key breeding sites to monitor feral cat numbers, buying extra feral cat feral cat kill traps, and supporting more helicopter flights to monitor remote Pukenui nesting sites. Enabling people to invest directly in projects that prevent extinction is our mission, and it's wonderful our donors have made a very tangible difference to the Pukenui this season, says Sarah. I hope this encourages more Kiwis, not the dead Kiwis who are going to be killed for the roads and the mines, but people, people Kiwis, New Zealanders, Aotearoans. I hope this encourages more Kiwis to dig deep and invest directly in this precious endangered species. Donations to New Zealand's Nature Fund campaign boosted our ground trapping efforts, resulting in 64 feral cats being trapped across our predator control zones. That's almost double what we caught last season, says Dan. Dan's a ranger from Department of Conservation, of course. While the extra trapping efforts have benefited Pukenui, we barely hold the line for this species. We need to control feral cats across a much larger area where the Pukenui breed. DOC is currently considering a proposal for an aerial 1080, that's the aerial baiting, poison baiting, uh, operation to protect nesting Pukenui ahead of the 2025-26 breeding season. The goal of the Pukenui, and if you're a Kiwi and you know how to pronounce it and I'm doing it wrong, let me know, please. The goal of the Pukenui recovery team is to increase Pukenui numbers to at least 300 birds by 2035. We still have a long way to go to reach this goal. The good news is if we work together, we can create safe havens for our Taonga species. I better look that up. Uh, what's that word? Uh, I'm wondering if that's like icon species. Let's find out. Look up. Come on, Google. Do your thing. Here we are, searching. Oh, that's not, you're not saying that, are you? Okay. By removing pests and restoring ecosystems. You can donate to help uh, at the New Zealand Nature Fund. She's very slow today. I think we'll just forget that and I'll just do it on Google. I don't know what was happening there. Let's just go to Google. Bear with me, folks. I like to know what words mean when I say them. Uh, it's a Maori word, an object or natural resource which is highly prized. So, also, treasure, anything prized applied to anything considered to be of value, including socially or culturally valuable objects, resources, phenomenon, etc. Okay, well, we got there. All right. There's a little bit of information. The 1080 poisoning targets possums, rats, feral cats. Uh, the longer term goal is to remove rats, possums, feral cats, and hedgehogs from Rakiura to enable nature and the community survive together. Now, I wonder, is that South Island or is that the Highlands? Let me have a look what that is. Stewart Island. Okay, so that's all from Stewart Island or Rakiura. I should have remembered that because I'm sure we talked about that. Yeah. Look, New Zealand would be in dire straits if it wasn't for some of their offshore islands being, basically arcs for their critically endangered species. But yeah, okay. All right. Let me see. Where are you all watching from? Uh, both the YouTube channels. Well, hello. If you're on Not Just Another Podcast, hello. Uh, Not Just Another Podcast YouTube channel is sort of my politics, social issues channel rather than my conservation channel, but we're going to both Bird Emergency and Not Just Another Podcast today. So, hi, hello. Please say hello. I would love to know what's what. And hello, Twitch. Nice to see you. It's kind of encouraging that no one's watching on Facebook because I really want to give Facebook away. Um, all right. What I want to talk about next is um, the wrap up to the Australian election. And while that's not the one I want. Where are we? While the result was fairly pleasing for me, I'm also troubled by it in a way. I'm pleased that we don't have a Conservative government. I'm pleased that we have a um, a centre left government. But um, but the concern I have is they will govern without any influence in the lower house. Um, And the Senate, which I'm going to bring up in a minute, I fear that the Labor Party might have control of the Senate as well. Can you hear the bird there? I might bring him in because he's being very annoying. Okay, all right, let's go. I will use the ABC page here. Okay, so the Senate has 76 seats. So you obviously need half plus one to govern. So let's have a look. So Labor is likely to have 28. The Greens, 11. So that's, what's that, 39. David Pocock, Independent, 1. So if we said 39, that would make 40. Looks like Jackie Lambie is gone. Looks like Pauline Hanson will remain. There will be an Australia's Voice. Is that Babbitt? Tammy Tyrrell for Tasmania. She continues. She was in Jackie Lambie's group, I think, and she split off. I think she was like a Palmer. United Australia Party. Oh no, that's Babbitt, isn't it? So continuing, wasn't up for re-election. Yeah, I'm just looking at the commentary. Labor looks set to gain 3 seats at the expense of the coalition, which will aid the passage of legislation. So, if they, so what's that? They need 35, 38. They need 10 on top of their own numbers to pass legislation. In there are still 5 seats in doubt. 55.2% of the vote is counted. 12 and 14, so that's 20, 36 and 2. 28. So if they can do green friendly legislation, they will pass legislation. If they, I mean, they need the Greens to be able to pass legislation. So that is good. But you wonder whether there's enough humility, a lack of hubris in the Labor Party, because they've already started slagging off all the independents and the Greens again. They started off yesterday. Now, I'd like to see them do restart the nature positive legislative process straight away and really commit to it and take advantage of their numbers and move a little bit to the left rather than pretend to be the coalition. If people wanted more right leaning people in the parliament, you would have got more Liberals and Nats elected. I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit ambivalent about Jackie Lambie being in or out. I mean, she arrived in Parliament as a Clive Palmer, United Australian Party parliamentarian, a senator, beg your pardon. And then that party blew up, and she's been pretty effective, and she's been very effective on veterans issues, being a veteran herself. So I'm not going to knock her for that, but I don't think she's been. Yeah, no. Look, I'm probably not. I'm probably not going to criticise her. I don't think she has been a well-rounded enough politician to have been able to beat a Labor or Liberal. I'll just have a look at the Tasmanian votes. I thought I was sharing. Let me share. Where are we? Exit that one. Sorry, I'll bring another one. I'll bring another one up. Senate elections. Here we go. I thought I was sharing. I just wasn't paying attention. Sorry, folks. All right. I'll just pop this over. All right. So, looking at the elected senators. Oh, hang on. Tammy Tyrrell is a. Oh no, maybe Jackie Lambie is ahead. Okay. Let's have a look at the commentary. How many quotas? Oh, they've only got half a quota. Set to be no change. 2 Labor, 2 Liberal, 1 Green, with Jackie Lambie in the race for the seat with the third Labor candidate. Okay, so I'm not actually understanding that table, so I won't even pretend to to go through that. I don't understand. I don't understand what Anthony is talking about there. So, all right. I want to talk about the Greens. The Greens have maintained, or actually, they've slightly increased their percentage vote, but they've lost vote share, and especially in preference flow, in the seats where they were contesting or held a seat. So it does look like I'll just go to the House of Reps and have a look at Adam Bant. It looks like Adam Bant's gone. Federal election. Party totals. Come on. Come on. Party totals. So, let me just wait for this to come up so I can tell you the latest. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay. So nationally, there's been a 2.7% swing to the ALP. The Greens have secured. Oh, they've actually had a swing against them. They've had an 11.8% vote, and that's 0.5% down. On their last election result. I'll have a look at Victoria, and we can have a look at Adam Bant. Come on, Victoria. In Victoria, they've won 13.1% of the vote, but it's still 0.7 of a percent down. Labor's gone up 0.1, and they've won 24 seats. Let's have a look at the key seats to see what the latest count is, if I can find it in the seat of Melbourne. Victoria. Okay, let's have a look. So, well, I did want to have a look at Kooyong, which is where these are just profiles, not the results. Okay, forget that. That's rubbish. I think I should have gone to the live results. Let's go to the live results. Seats in doubt. Let's see what's still in doubt. Okay, Brisbane. So Brisbane the ALP has won from the Greens with a 3.4% swing after preferences. West Australian seat, Bullwinkle, that's 50-50, 3.3% nominal swing because it's a new seat to ALP ahead, but there's a swing to Libs there. Let's just keep going down to find Melbourne. Melbourne, ALP ahead, 69.2% counted. It's currently 52.9% Labor, 47.1% to Adam Bant, the leader of the Greens. Now, that's a 9.4% swing to ALP, but nearly all of that is on preferences. So why have people essentially voted have they preferenced away from the Greens? That seems to be the state of affairs in the seats that the Greens have lost, and that's at least two. I might just go and look for the parties again and let the get a summary of the parties. because I think this is a bit of a concern, or it's certainly a concern for me. Um, okay, this is only a minute ago. So the national vote for the Greens was 11.8 and 0.5% behind. Now my um, my feeling. This is just my feeling, and I'd love to know your thoughts. My feeling is that the Greens were a little bit confused in their messaging, um, and I, I don't want to be critical of them for trying to stretch out to be more than just an environmental party, and um, their commitment to increasing or uh, fighting. I hate that word really in terms of policy development, but for trying to get a better deal for renters in Australia, I think was welcome. But I don't think they should have been front running that. I think they should have been supporting it, but not front running it. I reckon they should have let another independent or one of the Teals front run that and then support it as a block in Parliament. I think blocking the early measures that the government was trying to do to uh, get their housing measures through Parliament was a bad idea. They hitched their wagon to that. And from my point of view, they were seen as blocking something which was very, very positive for particularly low income earners in Australia. And I think the Greens are often conflicted because their electorates that they represent is in the lower house. And probably where they derive most of their votes from in the Senate too, are from well-heeled, well-moneyed electorates, often supported by property investors. I did see one analysis over the last few days that suggested that most of the Greens voting base, not necessarily their membership base, but their voting base, are actually people who are property developers or property owners and investors. So maybe they have one or two investment properties, and that they are very concerned about some of the things which are actually quite damaging for uh, uh, for renters or for first home buyers, just people trying to get onto the property tree. So that they're a little bit conflicted in in that sense. Now I don't know how true that is, but certainly as someone whose main electoral concerns are, I mean, certainly climate change is always there, but I'm happy that the ALP are taking that seriously and are moving ahead with that and are creating the conditions for industry and a economy wide switch to um, lessening our carbon output and for new renewable technology. So I'm pretty happy with that. It could be better, but I'm pretty happy with the way that's been heading. But we were talking so much about housing affordability, that environmental issues just fell off they fell out of the conversation, national conversation. The Great Barrier Reef disappeared. And the tourism industry has been able to talk about how great the reef is. And the reef's shit. Professor Terry Hughes will tell anybody. He's the person who knows more about the Great Barrier Reef than pretty much anyone on the face of the earth at the moment. Um, So I reckon the messaging was really confused. I, from my personal point of view, I didn't see the environment being front and center of any discussions. It wasn't mentioned in any debates. I didn't see any commentators talking about it. I didn't hear anyone. I did hear somebody say that the ALP has brought in the new federal EPA, but there's no legislation, no protection legislation to support it. And the government ran on saying how broken our environmental laws are. That's something we've been hearing them say for years and years. That's what Plibersek was saying. The minister, Tanya Plibersek, Minister for the Environment, was saying before she introduced her legislation into Parliament. I mean, I've covered that a lot on the bird emergency. But then it just disappeared. And I'm a little bit, this is a bit of a hobby horse for me. I mean, I've got no platform, basically. I don't get to go on any of the national radio shows or even regional radio shows or get on the telly, get on popular streaming shows, probably because I swear too much, but that's by the by. Plenty of people do, be it gardening shows, lifestyle shows, whatever. People need to, if they really care about this issue, they need to bring it up all the time. All the time. Throw it into every conversation you possibly can. My fear now is that it's just going to disappear for another 3 years. I hope the Greens will. I mean, Labor needs the Greens to pass legislation. So I hope that the Greens will use that position in the Senate to ensure that biodiversity is elevated to the same level that climate change is. But I'm still deeply concerned about it, and I'm trying to think about the ways that I can influence conversation. I really don't know if I can. So, folks, I'm looking for your input. I'm looking for your input here. That's what we do the live shows for, to have some comment and some input. Perhaps I'm going to have to think about it a bit more and do a show tonight that I prepare a little bit more for. I really wanted to get to talk today about the Kiwi, what's happening in New Zealand, Aotearoa. I mean, there's one really positive movement with the Southern Dotterel, but it's pretty horrific. And when just jumping back a little bit too for New Zealand Aotearoa, creating so much discord within the society about the founding document, pretty much the Treaty of Waitangi. You just got to wonder about some governments. Yeah, I'm yeah, I'm at a bit of a loss as to what's happening there. I mean, if you're a Kiwi, or if you know someone in New Zealand who's got a point of view about this, I would love to. I would love to know. I'm trying to get some interviews happening to talk about the situation in New Zealand. It's a long time since I've had a conversation with with someone in New Zealand. I was, I thought I'd had some input with Forest and Birds coming up, but they we arranged it and then they blew me off because of the. I don't blame them because there was Parliament. Uh, there was legislation in Parliament that they were trying to stop, and I don't think they did. And anyway, now I don't think the government even cares what they say. That was Forest and Bird, which is sort of essentially the NGO like BirdLife, or um, I'll follow them. I'll follow them up. But it's a little bit depressing how bad and how quickly things can turn when the wrong flavour government, uh, with enough, with a big enough majority to just ignore uh, any opposition is. Oh, look, I'm sure conservatives in Australia will be feeling the same way now. Um, the Australian electoral system means that you have to navigate the centre ground pretty well, and you have to have your finger on the pulse of where the community is moving. And as Australia's community, um, as the big bulk of older voters are moving up, and to a lot of them to the point where they no longer have to vote, and that the younger voters are coming through and really swelling the their proportion, increasing their proportion in the electorate. Governments can't just rely on same old. Or parties can't rely on same old. And I think that's been the problem for the Liberals. I don't think young people are remotely interested in them because most young people are never going to be property owners. They're not going to be big investors. Um, their idea of success in life, I think, is quite different to someone who is 40 and has developed a career. I think what when I'm speaking for them, I could be wrong, but I think the definition of success and fulfillment for younger voters now is quite significantly different to people maybe only 15 years or 20 years older than them. And I think there's less people who are the inherited wealthy who behave like that as they historically have in their voting patterns in Australia. So it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. Um, it'd be very interesting to see how the Greens in the Senate are able to deal with the government. Obviously, with if Adam Bant no longer being the leader, I'm not even sure. Are they going to have a seat in the lower house? Uh, no, I don't think they are they? Let's have a look at the pendulum or the. I want to see the chamber. I like the chamber graphic. I don't know where it's gone. Uh, others. Um, okay, Ryan, Brisbane, Melbourne. No, that's not telling me anything either. Uh, that's not telling me anything either. It's all. I'm not looking for the. I'm not seeing the one I want. Um, yeah, it looks like there's going to be no Greens in the upper house. So in the lower house, beg your pardon, in the House of Reps. 87 to Labor at the moment. There's 13 seats still in doubt. So they can pretty much propose what they like in the lower house. And if they do green friendly legislation, they should be able to get everything through. I should be happy about that, but I'm not hearing the kind of language that I would like to hear out of the leadership of the Labor Party so far. I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again. What else I wanted to talk about? Did anyone see Donald Trump talking to the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney this morning? I watched it live, and it was embarrassing. If you're an American and you're watching it, I mean, you must have been embarrassed. That the president's an idiot. I don't think there's any other way to mention it. The guy's a fruitcake. He gets asked one question, and he just goes off on something. No one knows what the hell he's talking about. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I really despair. I mean, he's winding back all of the carbon initiatives. I'm glad the rest of the world just seems to be powering on without him. Pretty happy about that. I mean, I think, what is it? The US is 4% of all the people on the earth. And it seems to me that of that 4%, 50% of them must be fruitcakes. So to think that 2% of the world's population might be hastening our collective doom by putting the handbrake on sensible carbon emission reduction strategies is frightfully disappointing. Frightfully disappointing in my view. Hang on, let me see. I'm just seeing some notifications come up. I got into a bit of a spat on X, so I'll just see if anyone's having to go. There's so many cookers and weirdos. I've been back on X. I've said a number of times I wanted to leave X, and I do. Problem is, I'm getting much more interaction, be it good or bad, on X. And the whole point of me doing this is to try and get people thinking about conservation and biodiversity, and to get to bring those issues to front of mind. You often got to be a bit prickly about politics, so I do that. Yeah, so I do that, and what's going on? I don't know what's going on with my. Oh, there we go. What's going on with that? Oh, getting a lot of cookers in here. Yeah. Um, uh, yeah, lots of cookers. Mr. C, no profile picture, 4 followers. Those 4 followers are probably uh, uh, his 4 other sock puppet accounts. Yeah. Soy Boy Selector. I got 1,000. Yeah. Far left are extremism, but good try. There's so many whackers. They're not funny and they're not clever. Um, uh, yeah, they're not funny. They're not clever, and they're certainly not engaging. Oh, at least he's got 107 followers. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, nobody's talking today, so the whole idea of doing the live streams is to get some people feeding back. So if we're not getting that, I think I'll do Trump. I might do Trump this evening. Trump and Carney. Uh, I'll play my favourite Canadian commentator. I was watching his live stream of the Oval Office meeting. Uh, I might watch that along with you if you're interested tonight. Not sure when, maybe 8 o'clock or something like that, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Are people popping in again? Hello. Hi there, YouTube. That must be the Bird Emergency Channel, I would imagine. Hi. You know the deal. Live streams. Let's say something. I'll stick around if you're going to throw comments at me and questions and have a bit of a say. I mean, did any of you watch any of Trump's comments today? Were you aware that New Zealand was going to allow the killing of its protected iconic wildlife species in order to build mines and roads and dams and whatever else? Um, I better make sure. Well, I'm sure you can hear me. I'm sure you can hear me. Um, so we'll just see. We'll just see. If not, I'll just drop off and be back later tonight. I think I'll do some homework, do some study, get some things done, and then maybe come back and play Donald Trump later. Uh, Later this evening. Um, there was news on the coming out of the election. It's not really election related, but Laura Tingle has been confirmed today that she is leaving the 7:30 report on the ABC and will become the global affairs editor. That's a pretty senior position. I'm happy with her getting the. It's obviously a promotion. I'm a bit worried about who will fill her seat. I mean, she's won Walkley Awards. She is highly regarded. But who will become the preeminent political commentator and analyst, beg your pardon, analyst on the ABC in her stead? I'm not seeing too many standout candidates for that role, but we'll wait and see. All right, folks. Well, you've been extremely quiet. I was hoping that we would get commentary today, especially with my Kill Kiwis kind of uh, thumbnail. But yeah, can't please all the people all the time. Sometimes you can't please any of the people any of the time. I'm Grant. I think I'll be back tonight. We'll just see if I can get some homework done. I will. I do want to play the conversation and the live commentary of the Donald Trump Mark Carney meeting, which, if you're an American, you just should be You just should be hanging your head in shame. And if you know anyone who voted Republican, geez, you want to disown them. I'm trying to be friendlier and less sweary. I've got most of the sweariness out of my system on the social media about the election. Now we just got to see uh, what comes out. I don't really care what the Liberals do, what the coalition do in terms of who's leaders and whatnot. I mean, they can just bicker among themselves for 3 years and maybe 6 years. You know, the task that they have to win back government is so big. But anything's possible. It's a volatile electorate now, so anything is possible. I don't think they can win next time, but you always want to go fingers crossed. Um, but I mean, the in terms of seats and percentage, this win is up there with any of the best wins that the ALP has ever achieved, and I think it's one of the worst results that the Liberal National Party has ever achieved. I probably want to have a bit of a comment when I think about it a bit more about the effect and the influence that the National Party has on politics and policy, especially conservation and land use policy in Australia when they achieve. Actually, let's have a look. Party totals. We'll have a look at the national vote. I want to see the coalition broken up. All parties. Here we are. Show me all parties. Okay. Now, this is what really concerns me about Australian politics, right? National Party, the National Party, total party totals, updated 9 minutes ago, and just shy of 80% of the national vote has been counted. The Labor Party has gained 34.8%, which is a 2.2% increase, and that has meant 15 extra seats. The Liberal Party has gathered 20.9% of the vote, and that is down 3%, and which is they've won 16 seats, and it's -7. The Liberal National Party, which is the Queensland branch of the combined Liberals and Nationals, got 7.1% of the national vote, and they've got 15 seats, down 5. The Nationals, which are the rest of the country party, so you exclude Queensland, they've won 4% of the vote, and they've got 9 seats. One Nation got 6.3% of the votes. They have no seats. Independents got 7.6% of the votes. They have 8 seats. And the Greens got 11.8% of the vote. So more than double, nearly 3 times what the National Party have achieved nationally apart from Queensland, because of the way that they have gamed the system, and they have no seats in the lower house. So my thoughts are that the Greens need to be working a bit more closely with the Labor Party to ensure that the preference flows are a bit better for them. I mean, they're only 8.5% below the national vote of the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party has 16 seats and the Greens have none. They have they have nearly 4% more votes than independents, essentially the Teals, and they have no seats and the Teals have 8. They have, well, they've beaten One Nation, so that's good. But they're nearly 3 times the vote of the National Party. Nationals have 9, and this is because of the preference flows with the Libs and other right-wing conservative parties. And the Nationals have 9, and the Greens have 0 in the lower house. So, yeah, we need. No change in the Victorian Socialist vote, so it looks like my first preference was a bit wasted. They did get 0.2% of the national vote, which was the same as the Shooters and Fishers and the Australian Christians and the Animal Justice Party and the Country Liberal Party, the Northern Territory Liberals, and the Centre Alliance. What are they? They were a South Australian mob, weren't they? And about the same as Bob Katter's Australian Party. So all of those people are getting between what are we looking at? Yeah, 20,000 and 30,000 votes. Yeah, it's really it's interesting when you look at how those preferences are going to all flow out. All right, I'm talking to myself today. There we are. I'm really concerned about how the Greens are going to go in the longer term. I'm very concerned about whether the Labor Party will will embrace the opportunity with using the Greens in the Senate, partnering with the Greens in the Senate, or whether they're going to do what I think the stupid Democrats are doing in the US by turning inwards, turning towards the centre, seeing how they can work with with the most unpopular electoral body. We'll see. We'll see. All right, last opportunity, folks. If you've got something you would like to share, if you'd like to bring up as a topic, throw it in the comments. Do make sure you are subscribed. I would love you all to be subscribed to the Bird Emergency. And if you want my political takes, do head over to Not Just Another Podcast on YouTube. I'll share that in the socials, and that's where the sort of political ranting will be happening. Yeah, I have finished my prac work for a couple of at least a fortnight, so hopefully we'll be able to do a bit some interviews bird emergency interviews in the next few weeks before I have to actually do my practical teaching assessments. And I should be finished in I don't know, finished in about 5 or 6 weeks, which will be good. All right, thanks, folks. Those of you who have been sticking around, and hopefully we'll see you this evening we'll do something a bit more lighthearted. We won't talk about killing Kiwis tonight. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd, also a plant nerd. Do subscribe. I'd love that. See ya.